New York didn't sleep. It just dimmed its brightness. Max stared at his phone screen, the neon advertisements blurring in his pupils. Pink, blue, acid green. A sneaker ad popped up the exact second he opened his banking app. $44,872.16. He held his breath. The Buy Now button was orange. Not just orange, it was perfectly orange. The exact shade he used to test in A/B experiments. ff6a00, he muttered. The color that silences doubt. Max knew this. He wrote the report himself. This specific shade reduces cognitive resistance by 17%. His finger hovered over the screen. He didn't want the sneakers. He wanted silence. He tapped it. The payment went through instantly. $44,422.16. A second of relief. Then, emptiness. Do you even choose them consciously? The voice sounded nearby, too calm for Manhattan. Max looked up. She was standing at his table, holding no coffee, no phone, only a thin tablet in her hand. In this city, people were always holding something. She wasn't. That was already strange. "I'm an interface designer," he said, automatically locking his screen. "I know how it works." She sat down opposite him, as if she had every right to be there. "Then you should know that knowledge doesn't protect you. It only makes the trap more elegant." Max smirked. "Great. Another TED Talk in a coffee shop?" "No," she tilted her head. "A demonstration." She turned the tablet toward him. A graph. Clean, green, perfectly smooth. No spikes, no noise. "This is my financial profile for the last 6 months. "Fake," Max said immediately. "There's no such curve in reality." "There is, if you remove the human from the equation." She slid her finger across the screen. Heart rate, sleep, social media time, stress levels. "My algorithm blocks access to my money when I become weak." Max felt a slight irritation. "Are you serious? An app that decides when you can spend your own money?" "No," she smiled. "An app that decides when you are incapable of making decisions." That hit home. "And how much have you saved?" "I haven't saved," she replied calmly. "I've maintained control. On average, about $3,000 a month." Max's smirk faded. "Sounds like an advertisement." "It is an advertisement," she said. "You're just the target audience." He looked at her more closely. She wasn't trying to be liked. She didn't smile unnecessarily. She wasn't playing a part. It was unfamiliar. "What's your name?" he asked. "Elina." She held out her hand. Max shook it. Her skin was cold. "Max." "I know." He froze. "What?" "You work at a fintech startup in Brooklyn, UX lead. Your last project was a checkout flow with one-click payment." She looked right through him. "You optimize impulsive purchases." The silence between them grew thick. "Have you been following me?" "No," she replied calmly. "You left everything online yourself." She leaned forward slightly. "And you're tired." Max wanted to argue, but he didn't. Later that night, Max's apartment was too quiet. The windows overlooked a street where cars never stopped moving. Red brake lights stretched out like a pulse. He sat at his laptop. Bank account open. Order confirmation open. LinkedIn open. He found her in 3 minutes. Elina Vorn. No photo, no history, only one line. Behavioral systems architect. "Of course," he whispered. He closed the laptop. His phone vibrated. An unknown number. A message appeared. "You didn't press the button because you wanted the sneakers. You pressed it because you didn't want to feel what you were feeling at that moment." Max stared at the screen. A second message followed. If you want to stop it, come tomorrow, 7 p.m., same table. And a third. And, by the way, you picked the wrong size. Max slowly lowered his phone. For the first time in a long while, he didn't feel anxiety. He felt interest. On the other side of the city, Elina sat in a car parked in the shadows. Her screen glowed soft green. It wasn't just one panel. There were dozens. Profiles, graphs, behavioral patterns. Max was one of them. She opened his file. Subject, M47. Impulsivity, high. Financial anxiety, critical. Compliance to external control, 82%. She made a note. Ready for trust phase. She looked at his last transaction, $450. She smiled. You don't even realize you're already inside the system, she said softly. The screen went dark. New York was more honest in the morning than at night. No neon, no illusions, just gray light, concrete, and people rushing to places they didn't want to go. Max stood at a Brooklyn crosswalk, ignoring the signal. The phone in his hand felt cold, like it didn't belong to him. Her message was still open. You didn't click that button because you wanted to. He read it for the 5th time. Too accurate, too well-timed. The light changed and the crowd surged forward, pushing him across the street. The office was a humming open space, sounding like a server room. Coffee, keyboards, notifications, and screens. Hundreds of screens. Max sat down, opened his laptop, and froze. Figma, checkout flow, the Buy Now button, the exact same one. You look like you haven't slept, Sarah said without looking away from her monitor. She sat opposite him. Short hair, black turtleneck, perfect posture. Unlike the others, her desk was empty. No chaos, no clutter. I slept, Max lied. Liar, she replied calmly. A silence stretched between them. Spent too much again? Max didn't answer. Sarah finally looked at him. Do you ever notice that you design things you can't control yourself? It's just work, he said sharply. No. She turned her whole chair toward him. It's a habit. Max looked away. I met someone yesterday, he mentioned, trying to sound casual. Of course you did, Sarah shot back dryly. And let me guess, she isn't trying to sell you anything. Max smirked. Actually, the opposite. She wants me to stop spending. Sarah went still. She slowly closed her laptop. Repeat that. She works with behavior, Max explained. Finance, impulses, that kind of thing. Name? Elina. Sarah watched him longer than necessary. Do you have a last name? No. A company? No. A website? Max remained silent. Sarah stood up abruptly. Are you serious right now? Relax, he said. It's not some crypto scam. Are you sure? Her voice dropped an octave. Because it sounds exactly like one. She leaned in closer. Max, if someone promises emotional control through your money, that isn't a product, it's a hook. He felt a flash of irritation. You haven't even seen her. I don't need to, Sarah said. I can see you. You're already inside. 1857. The coffee shop was the same, but it felt different. Max sat at the same table, phone face down. He didn't want to look expectant. You're early. He hadn't noticed her approach. Elina sat across from him, wearing a black coat. No details, no accidents. I don't like being late, Max said. You like control, she corrected him. And that's exactly why you don't have any. Max laughed, but something tightened in his chest. Do you say that to everyone? Only to those for whom it's true. She pulled out a tablet. The screen lit up. Let's skip the theory. She turned it toward him. It was his day. Precise, minute by minute. 8:12 a.m. Woke up, checked balance. 8:14. Opened Instagram. 8:17. Saw an ad. 8:18. Purchase. Max felt a chill run through him. How do you have this? It doesn't matter, she said calmly. What matters is that you don't control a single one of those points. She zoomed in on the screen. Here is the moment of decision, a frame, a timeline, his finger hovering over a button. In this moment, you think you are choosing, she said, looking into his eyes. But you already chose 20 seconds before this. The noise of the coffee shop faded away. This can be stopped, she said more gently, but not by willpower. Then how? Architecture. She opened an app, Zenith 2026, a minimalistic interface, calm colors, no noise. This is a demo, she said. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for access. Max tensed. To what? To your patterns. She leaned forward. I won't manage your money. I will manage the moments when you are incapable of managing them yourself. It sounded reasonable, too reasonable. And what do you get? She smiled. Data. Honestly, the lack of hesitation hit him harder than a lie would have. You want to study me? I am already studying you, she said. The question is whether you want it to work in your favor. The silence lasted a long time. Max felt two parts of himself fighting, the rational and the exhausted. Exhaustion won. Is it safe? Elina didn't answer immediately. That was worse than a simple yes. It is effective, she finally said. That evening, Max walked down the street oblivious to the crowds, phone in hand. A new app was installed, Zenith 2026. He opened it. A loading screen appeared with a smooth animation. Too smooth. The home screen showed his balance, $44,422.16. Status: unstable. Below that, a notification. Impulsive pattern detected. Transaction limit recommended. A button appeared. Activate protection. Max froze. 1 second. 2. He remembered Sarah's words. You're already inside. He pressed it. The screen shifted softly. Protection activated. Welcome to the system. At that exact moment, the phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. The first step is always the easiest. Max stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. He looked up. People brushed past him. Cars honked. New York lived its life. And he suddenly realized one simple thing. He didn't remember giving the app permission to access his messages. Across the city, Sarah sat in a dark apartment, lit only by a monitor. A server log was open. She zoomed in on a line of code. Unknown connection. Device: iPhone. User: MK. Damn it, Max, she whispered. She began typing rapidly. IP address, root, proxy. It was too clean, too neat. She opened another window. Search: Zenith 2026. The result? Nothing found. Sarah froze. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel irritation. She felt fear.